The INNOCN PU15 Pre is a $500 battery-powered 4K portable OLED monitor. Let's find out if it's worth your money. INNOCN sent me this monitor for review but has no input on my content. Everything you're about to hear are my own original thoughts and opinions. The packaging that the PU15 Pre comes in is sleek and simple. It's very well packed, ensuring that there isn't any movement inside the box during the shipping process. In the box, we get a USB-C to USB-C charging cable, a 45-watt power brick, an HDMI to HDMI mini cable, a USB-C to USB-C data cable, a cover stand combo, and the INNOCN PU15 Pre monitor. Out of box, this thing feels very light, weighing 936 grams. But with the case, that weight jumps to 1,314 grams. The included case has a magnetic kickstand, allowing you to prop up the screen and close it up like a book when not in use. The screen has a thin form factor of about 6.8 millimeters. For reference, you can see that it's thinner than my MacBook Air. I'm actually pretty surprised they managed to fit a 5,000 milliamp battery inside this thing. The PU15 Pre operates simple enough, with a power button located on the top. A long press of the power button will turn the monitor on. If you're not into using the battery, then you can just leave the monitor plugged in via the USB-C charging port with the included 45-watt charger and use it on bypass. I don't use the battery often, but it can be very helpful in a pinch. INNOCN claims you can get 4 hours of use from a full charge, but this can obviously change based on the brightness of the screen. I performed my own battery test with full peak brightness and managed to get roughly 3 hours and 45 minutes. And speaking of brightness, the PU15 Pre can output a maximum of 400 nits peak brightness. So it's brighter than most desktop monitors, but not bright enough to achieve true HDR. You need about 1,000 nits brightness for that. Regardless, the screen looks fantastic at the full 4K pixel count of 3840 by 2160, giving us that sweet OLED in a native 16:9 resolution. The colors look incredibly vibrant on the glossy screen. However, we're not getting a true 10-bit color output for all my content creators out there. Instead, the screen is 8-bit plus 2-bit frame rate control, or FRC. It mimics 10-bit, but it isn't as precise and may introduce small artifacts and gradients. It works by simulating additional colors by rapidly cycling between two similar colors. Despite it not being true 10-bit, I have to say, the screen does look amazing. We get those true blacks that only an OLED can achieve by individually turning those pixels off, giving us a 100,000:1 contrast ratio. We can change the color presets by short pressing the power button to activate the on-screen touch display and do basic things like change the input, contrast ratio, brightness, speaker volume, or select a preset. There is no option for gamma controls though for my fellow editors out there. Womp womp. Hooking the PU15 Pre to my Calibrite Display Pro, we'll find that out of box, the color space does need some work, only achieving 76% of the DCI-P3 color gamut. After some small tweaks, we do manage to get that number to 96%. I'm sure with some more tweaking, we'd be able to get it closer, but out of box, it does fall short of the advertised 100% DCI-P3 color gamut coverage, and you will need to mess with the colors to get it to display accurately. In order to take advantage of the touchscreen functionality, the USB-C data cable will need to be plugged into the PU15 Pre and whatever device you're using. INNOCN boasts about the 10-point touch functionality, meaning you should have access to multi-touch features and gestures. But I notice you have to press a little firmer than you think you should in order for the touch to register on the screen. Additionally, there's a small but noticeable delay when using the touchscreen. Overall, I found the touch functionality to be hit or miss across the board, with it working occasionally on Steam Deck, working perfectly with Windows, and having very shoddy functionality on iOS devices. That one's probably Mac's fault, to be fair. For my gamers out there, the refresh rate is 60 frames per second, which I would say is enough for friendly, casual gaming, but not for serious competitive play. INNOCN also advertises a 1 millisecond response time, but I can tell you just from the feel that this thing is not a 1 millisecond response time screen. After some research, the lovely folks over at techpowerup.com tested this with a Nvidia LDAT and came up with the average input lag of 46.3 milliseconds. So this is certainly a higher latency display. The best way I know how to describe the feeling is when you play Super Smash Bros. On a friend's TV that clearly has some input lag. You know what I'm talking about. Input lag aside, one of my favorite uses for this monitor was packing it up with my Steam Deck and bringing it to my friends' houses to play retro and casual games. It's amazing for that. It's super simple to set up too. I'd plug my dock into my Steam Deck for power, then plug the HDMI cable into the PU15 Pre from my Steam Deck dock. We'd hang out and play Nintendo games like Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart. I always win. The combination of vivid colors and sound made it a very immersive experience. You can adjust the sound via the volume buttons on the right side or by entering the on-screen display. For those curious, here's a quick sound test.
With the Dragonfly R1 Max, it arrived in a much sturdier, better looking box. Inside, you get a manual, a USB Type-A to Type-C cable, extra PTFE skates, which are always great to see, grips, and the
Again, guys, I wouldn't use this to play anything competitive like Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six, Overwatch, or Marvel Rivals. You'll definitely feel that input lag, but it's been an incredibly useful monitor to throw in my bag and bring over to my friend's house to play emulated Mario Kart on my Steam Deck. For all the creatives out there, this has been an absolutely amazing field monitor for my Sony FX3 camera when filming content for my YouTube channel. I send the HDMI out from my camera to my screen recorder, then send that output to the PU15 Pre and prop it up right in front of me. It works great for overhead shots, and honestly, this has been a game changer for content creation. The warranty is only for a period of 1 year, and I find that a bit disappointing. Other brands are offering a 3-year warranty on their OLED screens. And with the combination of the battery in this device, I feel like 2 years would have been way more fair to the consumer. I actually managed to damage the HDMI mini port, but luckily, Innocent Support provided excellent service and replaced the monitor. With that being said, I will say I'm not a fan of HDMI mini ports. If you are serious about this monitor or any other monitor with a HDMI mini port, do yourself a favor and purchase an HDMI mini male to HDMI female adapter. It will help relieve stress from the small HDMI mini port, and you won't end up breaking the port like I did. The Innocent PU15 Pre is a visually stunning portable 4K OLED monitor with true OLED blacks, vibrant picture quality, and a sleek, lightweight design. Its utility is great for content creators where its portability and image clarity can elevate production workflows. But its limitations, including the high input lag, the reliance of an HDMI mini port, lack of gamma controls, and inconsistent touch experience make it less appealing for certain use cases. For casual gaming on devices like the Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch, the monitor can be a reasonable choice, but it's not suitable for fast-paced or competitive play. Its high price tag and high latency hinder its overall value. While the PU15 Pre has immense potential, refinements such as lowering input lag, improving or removing the touch panel, and offering a standard HDMI port would make a V2 model far more compelling. As it stands, the PU15 Pre is a niche tool ideal for creatives and casual gamers with specific needs, but not a universal recommendation. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you learned something, and until next time, GG.